Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. They clean up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Yo, what's up, party people?
How's it going?
Punks. What's
all
up,
the
punks?
Daft punks, Daft punks. What's up, guys? How are you doing? Welcome to episode 10. We've made it to 10. The statistics on podcasts say that if you can make it to 12, you're more likely to actually succeed on your podcast journey. So, Drew, we're two away. We're two away.
I'm keeping the fingers crossed that we can make it over the finish line.
Yeah. Once again, we just want to say thank you, guys. We appreciate everybody who's been watching on YouTube, people that have been listening on Apple Podcasts, listening on Spotify. We appreciate any rating and reviews that you guys could do. So if you could please, if you're listening and you haven't, drop us a rate and a review on the Apple Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. Make sure your downloads are on both Apple and Spotify. That does help us grow the podcast. Anytime you guys are listening to, we appreciate anybody who shares on their IG story and we can repost. Also, we love questions and stuff that we could talk about on the show, things that you guys might be interested in that we can, help out with. We've got a few people that have called in or messaged us that we still haven't got yet, and we know that, and we're going to get to you. We promise. We've just had a lot going on, and we don't want to discourage anyone from not messaging us. So, again, thank you to everybody so far.
And all of the conga line challenges still being sent in. We appreciate those. Keep those coming in. I think that'll just be a recurring thing. We're just gonna let it run. Conga line challenge just gonna keep going. So if you tag us, we'll repost it and keep the conga lines coming.
It's for life. Let's see. We got a special guest today. We got a super, super, super special guest today. We're just going to get right into it. I've known this guy since I pretty much started DJing. He used to try to convince me that his Toshiba laptop was better than my Mac. Also, shout out to Warren Peace. He's a big PC guy too. He has held down residencies all around Cincinnati, almost 15 years and counting now. He is one of the best programming DJs I know. He is a top tier rewards member at REI. He's a Patagonia top male model. He's one of the busiest DJ editors that Direct Music Service has. He edits the most content every week. His taste for music curates bars, restaurants, and casinos all across the country. With one of the companies he works for called Playback Prodigy, and we'll get into that a little later in the episode. He loves to get angry at requesters in the DJ booth. So please help us welcome Simo, not Simo. Hey.
Yeah. Hey. What's going on, fellas?
What's up?
That was a hell of an introduction, Fuse. Thank you.
We're going to do a celebratory shot. We're recording a little later than we normally do today, so it's drinking hours are on. Cheers to anybody who's listening. If you're driving, don't drink and drive.
To the punks out at night.
The punks out at night.
Well, anybody who's been following along knows that with our last episode with PJ, we got kicked off with a little one-word answer speed round. So basically, we're just going to fire off some questions, and we just want you to answer them one word or whatever comes to the top of your head. It should be pretty easy. So we're going to kick it off with tea or coffee in the morning.
Coffee.
Turntables or CDJs?
Turntables.
Favorite song to get the crowd hype with?
Hotel room service.
There we go.
honestly, it works. I'm serious too.
That's the reoccurring right there. Wow.
Where did you last visit on vacation?
That would be Asheville, North Carolina.
What is the best non-curse word, one-word insult?
Clown.
All right, there we go. Favorite childhood show?
Rugrats.
If you could have any car to drive that would be absolutely free, no insurance, no nothing, what would it be?
I don't really care about cars.
A
I'll
Jeep,
say like,
a 4-wheel Jeep, 4x4.
I would think
yeah,
it was
sure,
going to
sure,
be a
sure.
2011 Kia Soul brown.
No way, no way, no way. I'm done. I'm done with the lights and the speakers. That's gone. That's
Go-to karaoke song.
say shut up and dance.
All right, I'd like to watch that one. So
I
I
would
know the
actually
words.
Pay money for that.
Hey, I mean, listen, I'm from Cincinnati. The band's from Cincinnati. I don't know. It's whatever. I had to pick one.
I'll be honest. I saw them live, and they were really, really good live. It was
They're
just
a fun
part of
band.
it was part of a festival, and they had some hits before. That one kind of feels like their sellout record, but they had some hits,
for sure.
you know?
That was like the label's like, hey, we need a banger, and they're like, and they just teed them up, you know. But
Yeah.
Anna Sun is really good. I love that one. Tightrope is really good. But
Talk
yeah.
about a song with a deceiving title, Anna Sun. I looked that one up.
Yeah.
I'm like, which was the House Falling Down song? It was like,
Yeah,
it took forever to figure out it's Anna Sun. Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
do you own your own Netflix account or do you borrow somebody else's?
I own my own.
The last thing you listened to on Spotify?
Oh, honestly, it was the Master Monk episode of the Drew and View Show.
Hey, small plug.
Hey.
It was today.
Master
yeah.
Who is your favorite producer?
Oliver Nelson.
If you could see an act live that you haven't seen yet, who would it be?
I've had so many opportunities, but I just have never done it. I need to see the Foo Fighters.
I got a good story. Is this interrupting the rapid round? But I saw the Foo Fighters in '96, right after
Wow.
Everlong came out, with Run DMC and some wannabe reggae band that did a Spider-Man cover. Spider-Man reggae. It was awful, but
Wow.
they crushed it, by the way.
When the Killers were in Cincinnati at a music festival, they actually played the entire WKRP in Cincinnati theme song, and I thought that was one of the coolest things that a band
So
has
tight.
done. I was like, what? Like, where else would they play this but Cincinnati? Like, that's amazing.
So tight. I saw them. They headlined a festival. It's like a local radio station here, the Killers, and the headliner was supposed to be Morrissey, but he got mad at something. Somebody ate a beef jerky stick outside, or something happened, and basically he just canceled. And so they did a bunch of Smiths and Morrissey songs, like the whole show. It was the Killers. It was dope.
We got one more rapid question that we want to answer, and it might be a tougher one to answer. But who is your favorite DJ? Somebody that you like?
I'll be honest. I haven't heard a lot of DJs lately. Four Color Zach, when I heard him at Pavilion, was incredible.
Definitely a good one.
And his Instagram clips and what he puts on Twitter, his little routines are always like, what? How did you? It seems obvious in the moment, but you're like, how did you come up with that idea?
Yeah, I love his Twitch stream. He is out there, and I love everything about that.
It's so unique. Yeah,
very dope.
So one of the things we like to do is recap kind of the weekends. But since you're the guest this week and you had a busy weekend, we'll just ask you to recap your weekend. Tell us where you did, where you played, what kind of give the present the vibe of the spot.
Biggest song of the night.
Yeah.
Worst request of the night. Anything you got?
Well, I guess last week was Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving Eve was the big night. And I was at Igby's for that, which is downtown Cincinnati. It's actually a 3-story cocktail bar that Fuse has a lot of experience playing in. And Drew, you played my wedding after party. Yeah. So I was there on Thanksgiving Eve, and that was absolutely sardine can packed all night. That was a lot of fun.
You can almost do no wrong on that night. Everybody and
yeah.
Right?
Especially this year. This year there was some different energy to it, and it was awesome.
And were you just playing open format? I know every time I've played there, it's pretty much, it seems anything goes. But maybe it's just.
I'd say the beginning of the night, I typically try to keep it a little more funky. But on when the nights like that, I just hit the gas and go for it from the jump.
Any songs that stood out? Any songs that stood out or sets that stood out?
That night, actually, I believe I or I think it might have been that night. That or it was Halloween. The Do It To It, a craze track crushes,
I keep
and
hearing that
especially
over and
when
over.
it's packed like that. Yeah, and I played
So
I played the phrase version after Halloween.
yeah,
I did it.
yeah. I don't consider that a Halloween track at all. You know, it's
I can see
Squid,
how it would come across as one, but yeah, it's really not.
yeah. I mean, Squid Games, just because I guess the killing
It's the
of it,
timing of
but
it, really.
yeah, 100%.
But
But I think it stands on its own, and it'll keep
mhm,
being the go-to edit for sure.
mhm. Yeah, I actually had a request at Igby's for a version of the Squid. This guy came up to me and he said, "Do you have the version that Zed played at EDC?" And I was like, I text Fuse and I said, "Yo, wait a minute." I said, "Did Zed play Phrase's bootleg at EDC?" I'm like, "Does he know this?" Like, did it? And then Fuse texts me back. He's like, "Oh, actually, that's a whole thing." And I was like, "Oh man!" But I was like, "Yo, I know, my boy made that. Like, yeah, I'll play it." So I
I know
played
the
that version
guy.
anyway. Yeah, I know that guy.
That edit is dope. That whole track's crushing. I know Dylan Francis keeps teasing. I don't know if he's dropped it yet, but he keeps teasing goodies that he remixed pretty much exactly the same.
Oh, really? Oh, I haven't heard that, but
I think
yeah,
that could
that
be good
seems
too.
pretty obvious. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because everybody I talk to actually thinks that's a Sierra track.
Oh,
The
Do it.
sample,
the
the
cherish.
Yeah.
Oh,
sample,
wait. Do it to it.
it's
Yeah, it's
cherished.
cherished. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cherished.
Yeah, but everyone I talk to is like, "Oh, that Sierra sample." I'm like, what?
Yeah, oh yeah. I play Do It To It all the time. Like that's
Yeah.
always in my end of the night set list for sure.
If we don't have it, we need hook onlys on DMS of that.
I know I have some short edits, but I'm not sure if I have a hook only.
Because it has like 15 artists on some of the remixes, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You pick the verse.
Yeah, exactly. We just have like 15 edits of this.
So you did that Igby's on the night before Thanksgiving, and what about Friday?
And then I think Friday I was at a new bar that the company who owns Igby's just opened up in Kentucky called Beeline, and that was pretty good. It was a little less intense than Thanksgiving Eve, but it's a new bar, and the word's still getting out about it. But it was a good night. It was one of those where there was a decent little crowd in front of me that was having a good time for a few hours, and it was one of those things where you just play what they want to hear, and as long as they're having a good time, you just make the best of it.
Yeah.
Would you consider it because of the bar that it was slower, or just the night? Because that you can't compete with that Wednesday, right? And then
Oh no, not at all. Yeah, and that Friday after Thanksgiving, if there's some hot areas of Cincinnati that are always busy no matter what, but the outskirting areas sometimes on those nights that are like fringe nights, it can be super hit or miss. And that the area that this bar is in is definitely on the come up, and it's not quite there yet, to be honest.
So, DJing to a really intimate crowd, like you're saying, where you're just trying to keep 20 people entertained versus a bar that's 3 levels, you could do absolutely no wrong. Did you find something that worked differently? Like you're probably not going to get away with that.
Yeah, No, not at all. No, no. I think one of them made a request. Like it was some 2000s hip hop throwback request, and once you know that that's what they want to hear, something by Nelly or something like that, it's pretty easy to figure it out. So
Right.
I just went with that type of stuff for as long as I could until it got awkward when it thinned out a little bit. And then I went back to the funky stuff.
Saturday, where'd you play?
Saturday, I was at where was I today?
You know what might refresh your memory is One More Shot. I hear.
You know what? Let me just look at my
Sponsored
calendar.
by Scooter's brand, Screwball.
Dang, let me pour one up. That's not a
Let me see
screwball.
here. I got it. I'm losing my freaking mind, man. Yeah, I was at Stretch on Friday. And that was good again. Stretch is always fun to play.
Explain. I know we've brought it up in the past, but Stretch is basically right outside of the Red Stadium.
Yeah, it's right across the street from the Red Stadium, and it's right next door to Fuse's Spot Fishbowl. And it's just, that whole block is a DORA block, which means it's like a designated outdoor drinking area. I'm not sure what it stands for, but so you can drink outside and everybody can kind of hop from bar to bar. And it's, it's the spot right now for sure in Cincinnati.
Speaking of drinking,
Oh man, we even got the pouring.
we got
Oh,
that
yeah.
pour. Cheers.
So
And anything that stood out that night, or anything you want to leave? I mean, hotel room service just every night, 4 times.
Hotel room
5
service,
times?
I definitely went off good on Friday because I like using it. I go straight into the horns. I know, Drew, you were asking in past episodes how you play that song. A lot of times I use the Pioneer 50% tempo adjustment. That's why I love the Pioneer turntables. And maybe like 1 or 2 times a night, I'll just use it on the fly as a 100 BPM up to 126 transition by just using the slider. I know I could make a transition, but it's just fun that you can do that sort of thing with whatever's in your library with some of the tools you can use now.
I do that with the Reigns all the time. I love to do just on the fly transitions. Boy, this is what I got to say about that hotel room service. I still am on the fence of whether I think it's a banger. I know everyone's going to hate me for it, but it comes in amazing and then it slows down and it's like,
I play a 2-minute edit. I really just use the horns and I like to use it as a transition more than an actual, but it's still for that type of thing. Like usually transitions are one of those things, in my opinion, that you play it because you have to, or you feel like you have to, but that one is like, it's a transition, but it also works. So it's like
hook only. You're not going into the verse.
I think it might be the horns, a hook. There might be a verse in there and then a hook, but the whole thing, including intro and outro, is definitely like 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Like it's not that long.
I thought of somehow, I don't know how to do this, but Frankensteining it with the Friday part, right? And taking out his whole verse being like, Friday day, and then back into the hotel room service. I think somehow, I don't know how to pull it off, but it's kind of my idea.
Hotel Friday party mega mix.
Yeah, with lots of hands up and, you know, get crazy.
2009s.
2009.
So to recap, Simo was at Stretch on Wednesday. He was actually back at Stretch on Friday, not on Saturday. And then he was at the Beeline, which he described.
Everything I said about Beeline applies to Saturday.
And then so he was back at Stretch Sunday, which I wanted to get to because I was able to catch like the last hour of your set. Well, maybe it was only like 35 minutes or so, but I was able to catch the last little bit of a set Sunday. And Sunday is a little unique because there was a Bengals game in town, and the bar he was playing at is both close to the Bengals and the Red Stadium. So it's kind of a complete mess during Bengals games Sundays, and people are just on another level of like getting annihilated and ready to party. But he was killing it. I texted him on Monday and said, hey man, it was good to hear you play. I haven't been able to get out much because, you know, I'm busy and everybody that I want to hear play is already playing the same nights that I'm basically playing. So it's hard to get out and listen. So I felt nice to be able to listen to another DJ for a second. And Simo did not disappoint from the DJing to also getting angry with requesters in the DJ booth. he had me cracking up a couple different times in just that 35 minutes. He was in full fucking mode and did not give a shit.
Yeah, it was the last half hour of my set, and everybody had been drinking a lot longer than I was. So, but it was a good day for sure. It was a great 4 hour set. Sure.
What's the go-to pissed off thing?
Well, let me set the mood. Let me set the mood. All right.
Set the mood.
Bar's packed.
Paint the picture.
People everywhere. Glassware all over the floor. Like it's just like a scene from Roadhouse in there, except for Simo's not DJing behind a chain link fence. All right. So,
I wish not.
I already want to see this movie made right now.
You probably could. Oh man.
So Simo's DJing and he's playing whatever. And one of the things that I love about when Simo plays is he does a good job of playing hip hop, but keeping it like broken up so where it's not so like it's just hip hop for an hour or whatever. This girl comes up and first off, she's like trying to talk to me and I'm like diverting because I'm just like not trying to deal with it either. And then she like parts me and another buddy, Zach, who are standing there like Moses, you know, and to get to Simo. And she does. And of course she hit a trigger and it was the asking for Young Dolph. And it's like nobody asked for Young Dolph a month ago.
Oh no!
Now that he's like passed
you're
away.
making me look so bad right now.
I'm not making you look bad. It's true. It's the same with me. Nobody requested Young
no!
until all of a sudden
Oh
recently, and
man!
everybody wants to be cool and trendy.
It was
But
listen.
Simo,
It wasn't the way. It was what she said. She said, I don't know. I was just, I don't know. The whole day was going so well, and the crowd was into everything, and it was so much fun. And she just comes up all aggressive and says, "Can you play the goat, Young Dolph?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Listen, I'm playing like 80s rock and like punk rock, and I got like 20 minutes left to play, and I'm just." Can you just let me like bring this home? And she just wasn't having it. And I was, it was just one of those things where it hit you really quick. And I just,
Now, do you have Young Dolph on the lappy at this point?
I do. No, I actually
Yeah?
had Water on Water on Water in my prepare list, and I was going
Wow.
to play it earlier, but I didn't get around to it. And I love that song, but I just, the way that she was so aggressive and demanding about it. And it was just such a mood crusher in such a quick little thing,
Right.
I'll tell you, my response would have been, since when does Tom Brady rap?
I know.
When does Michael Jordan make rap?
I'm not trying to be
She would have
disrespectful,
not known
but
what to say back at all, too. It was a good time in there, and there was something, and I don't know, are you on your DJ computer right now?
I am.
It was cracking me up because he went from like some hip hop song, I don't remember, and it had like an acapella out, and then he played like Britney Spears' "Toxic" underneath it, and it was just
wow.
I'm looking right at it. It's Laffy Taffy.
Yeah. He played Toxic.
Wow. I
Yeah.
love everything about that right now.
I love playing Toxic out of hip hop because it's 140 or something around there, and when I love double timing, or either way. Going from 130 to 65 or going from 65 to 130 and just doubling it up with an acapella out is so much fun to do.
And they're in key. They're both in 5A. So
yeah,
I love everything about that. My question is, what do you follow? What do you play after Toxic?
See, that was literally the second last song that I played. I went to "Feeling Myself" by Beyonce.
But dude, I'm telling you, it was still popping. Like he's like,
I went back to 70.
He's like, I don't care. I'm leaving at 8. I've already been here.
Yeah,
for 4
I went from 70 to 140 and back again, and then
right.
And then I was irresponsible and I played Mo Bamba after that. I'm looking at my history, and then I closed it out with Hotline Bling.
All right, I love that.
What people don't understand is that gig on Sunday. If they're listening, that's that gig he played on Sunday. When he shows up and plays for 4 hours, it is jam packed from the moment he starts until, sometimes it tails off a little if the Bengals aren't doing too hot or they lost, but this was one where it was till he was done at 8.
I'll tell you what, they got smoked by the Browns a few weeks ago, and it was still a party in there.
There you go.
It was a good time.
So when the
Bengals beat the Steelers like they did,
oh yeah,
all bets are off in Cincinnati.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to get into one of the things we like to do with the top 5 Serato songs. So if you've got those in front of you, hit us with number 1, the top played Serato.
Right. See, I had a feeling it was this. Tempo
Hotel Room
by
Service.
Lizzo. No.
Tempo by
It's
Lizzo.
Tempo by Lizzo, because it's 107 BPM, and it's always in the first hour of the night, just to kind of mess around in that 105 to 115 range and get some songs in that tempo range. I believe it. It's a little surprising, but I believe it.
All right. What after that?
Say Ah by Trey Songz.
It's a birthday.
Cranberry.
Rappers, upcoming rappers. If you wanna make it, just say birthday 100 times in your song, and you're gonna be popular.
I tweeted a few months ago. I play the birthday song by 2 Chainz at midnight, and 60% of the time it works every time. if the bar is packed, it's probably somebody's birthday at midnight, even if nobody requested it.
Do you play? Because anytime I play Say Ah, it's usually probably just the beginning into 2 reasons, because it's just like birthday, somebody's birthday. It says birthday a ton of times. I'm gonna do a little birthday 95 BPM birthday set.
Yeah.
See, I'm a little different with all those songs because now I'm at 2 places, both on Friday and Saturday, where I can use the mic. a lot. So I like to save all the birthday songs for a little different portions of the night. So I always got one when I get to do a shout out, or like, I feel like, like we've talked about, sometimes just saying some stuff on the mic adds to the energy of the room. So like, if I'm like, okay, it's been like 15, 20 minutes and I haven't said anything, let me just play a birthday song and be like, oh, I hear we got some birthdays in here tonight, blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of, that's how I use it right now. But a lot of times I'll just, if I don't have to talk on the mic at a place, I'm like, I'll just string the 50 Cent into the say into the what you just said, Drew.
And it's your birthday, bitch.
Oh yeah, always got that one.
Did Little John just did a birthday song too, right?
Yeah, it's like weird. I think it's
MF and birthday. It's a little faster, but
it's like motherfucking birthday. Like
it'll still crush, dude. You know it too. All right.
Oh, if they can tell it's talking about a birthday, it works.
There's two right there. Number 3.
Ice cream paint job.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
Rolling like a big shot. mainly because it's an acapella out, and it's always fun that acapella out goes with so many different things that you can switch it up. And I have like 4 or 5 different routines I do with that. Because I play at the same bars pretty much on a monthly basis. I play the same like 6 spots, and I just kind of rotate them. So it's fun to switch it up for the staff. And like you're playing some of the same songs, but you have different ways of mixing them in there. So the crowd's happy, and the bartenders don't know what's coming next.
Speaking of Brittany, do you ever play the Victor Minigo mashup with "Hit Me Baby One More Time"? The ice cream paint job versus "Hit Me Baby"?
I don't think I have that, to be honest.
That's my go-to.
Really? Huh.
I play ice cream paint job. That's the one I'm gonna send you right now.
Hit me in the Slack, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you right now because that's my favorite one, and I chopped it together to where it has that at the beginning and then goes into Brittany.
I don't think I have it either, so I'll gladly take that.
I play "Hit Me Baby One More Time" on Sunday. I played it. Went off.
Dude, I'm telling you, try this one. It always crushes. It's so good. It's just like it's pretty left field, so I love it.
I play "Hit Me Baby One More Time" super basic at a party in the USA.
I think
the song goes on.
What's funny about that is it's the obvious at this point, right? But I've not gone into Britney after it, and you just see everyone's face like sad, like they're just like, bring me the tissues because I'm so sad he didn't go into Britney afterwards.
If it works, it works.
All right, number 4.
Let's see. Don't Tell Him, the Scooter redrum by Jeremiah. That's one I usually use around like midnight or so when it's starting to kind of turn over into the second half of the night, if you will. When you're finished opening for yourself, that's one that I like to kind of boost up the energy a little bit with.
I did a prom in Kentucky. I actually kept getting requests for that. So it's still a banger. I mean, it still hits even at my weddings. That's a banger. It's going to be the return of the Mac of the 2010s.
All right. And then 5, if you're ready for it, is One Two Step by Sierra. I know that one's popped up in somebody else's top 5 too. I had a feeling that one would be in there because I play that all the time.
That's a go-to. I mean, at that 112 range, you gotta play it. I mean, you really could start it and use one of those pitch bend it up, because it's a great little transition in itself. If you pitch it down,
you just gotta make sure to play the Missy verse. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
So I think those are my 5.
Any chance to play Missy is the right answer.
Of course, yes, always. That's why, again, tempo. I make sure to get the Missy verse in at the end.
One of the things that we get asked all the time, and I know you get asked this too, is how do I become a DMS editor? How do I get on DMS? So with that kind of being said, why don't you kind of describe the process of how you became an editor for DMS, then how you kind of even got into it, and what people should do if that's something they think they want to do.
Well, I mean, I would say just learn how to use Ableton in the most basic ways, like you guys were talking about in the last episode. Learn how to warp. I see a lot of people posting Ableton videos on Instagram, but they're not warping at all. And I'm like, you got to learn how to warp. It makes everything so much easier and so much quicker. When you know how to warp and warp quickly, you can get on some more creative things and not worry about the minutia of the little, just get to it. And one of the things I do with edits is I try to make them as well as I can and as quick as I can to get to the next one and crank out a lot of content. So I think over the years I've really become efficient in Ableton and that helps a lot because you're not sitting there for hours getting little things done. So, and there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube for that. It's always a good choice for learning how to use Ableton. And I would say that's your start right there.
Well, I know a little bit of your story, and I know you kind of got a little bit of influence from watching Kevin Scott used to come through all the time. Shout out Kevin Scott. I think that was also one of the key things, at least when you started submitting things, is you were just submitting just very, very well curated stuff. You were just sending stuff that nobody else was doing. And it wasn't, say the new Lizzo track comes out and you're sending us 15 edits of Truth Hurts, right? You actually went a different route and were super curated and was just really dope shit. And it, I think drew me to you and to a lot of people. I know a lot of people just subscribe to DMS because they love your stuff. So maybe explain kind of how you got into that. I know,
sure.
I know the story, but maybe explain a little bit.
Sure.
Regressing a little bit to go forward, how you got into seeing Kevin and how you became so good at curating that.
I first saw Kevin on my 21st birthday, and I was at a nightclub downtown in Cincinnati, and it was the first time I had ever I didn't have a fake ID. There were 18 and up bars in Clifton, where University of Cincinnati is, and I would go there, and there would be DJs playing music, but not like DJing in that sense. And I was at this club, and it was the first time I'd been in a club, and it was my 21st birthday, but I wanted nothing to do with the drinking and the shots and everything, because I was just blown away by the fact that there was somebody out there just playing a song every 30 seconds, every minute, and just getting to the next song. And it was just blowing my mind. And I looked him up on a website called Bezo the next day and downloaded his, I believe it was I think it was It's On was the first one I downloaded of his. And then I downloaded Featured Presentation. And from then I was like, I think I had a little M Audio USB mixer within a month of that. And then it was game on from there. But
I remember that M Audio. That's dope. Yeah. Right on.
Yeah. Me and Fuse had a very similar first gear, and it's all kind of crazy to think about now.
It is.
But then after that, when he came out.
So one of the things I opened for Kevin too, and Kevin kind of helped, exactly like you're saying, he kind of helped me get to where at least I think start getting to another level of DJing. What I loved about Kevin is he's so freaking clean,
Yeah.
And he's just doing it all live, and it's just all the custom edits. And I used to feel that custom editing was cheating, and then you watch this guy just like curate these edits to where he's putting together mix and matched perfect sets, and it's mind-blowing. So no, I totally I'm on the same page of like, he kind of blew my mind with, oh shit, this is how you do it.
Yeah, and he was the first DJ I ever heard, and this was back in I want to say 2008, I think, and it was right when that whole the Bezo was it for the mixtapes and stuff, and his was one of the top downloaded. I think I downloaded some Sprite mixes and scene mixes from there, and I was hooked from there.
I can't even lie. I completely forgot about that website being a thing until just now.
I used to submit all my mixes to that website.
Bezo was great. I had a mix on there.
I had one or two that got in the top 3.
Heck yeah.
That was definitely the place. I wish record companies didn't suck and we could still have cool shit like that. But anyways, that's another story. So keep going.
When Bezo accepted my mix, that was before I think I was doing anything for DMS, and that was probably one of the first things that I was like, whoa, what? Like, am I really in this world now? A little bit anyway. And it was a really cool moment. And, later on, I met Kevin. Like, I didn't meet Kevin that night at all. I had no idea who he was. I didn't even know who the DJ was, I don't think, until the next day. But when I met Kevin, when he played at Pavilion in Cincinnati, he was so cool and just like super, like not brushing anybody off who's going up to him. I think I had him sign a record that I have down in my basement. And
I love that.
It's just so crazy. And I just didn't think in a million years, like, fast forward how many years, and now I've been working for DMS for 10 years, and it's just kind of wild that literally the night that all started it was he was DJing.
So the second time you actually get to meet Kevin, did he have the
Where?
Destination Nowhere?
Destination Nowhere? Did he have was he
Destination
passing those
Nowhere.
out? Because I know that was a huge inspiration to why you started curating
Oh.
all this indie dance and all that stuff. So at what point do you get that mix? Because I know from knowing your story that was big.
I think I remember being a big Mike Posner fan, and he had I can't remember which song. I think it was I can't remember which song, but it samples the Empire of the Sun song that Kevin started that mix with. And when it didn't start with Mike Posner, I was like, hang on, who is this? I don't know who this is. And then like from then on in, I was like, who is all of this? Like I need every single song that's on here. Like, and I learned about Treasure Fingers, and I think The Magician was probably on there, and like just so many indie producers that I still love to this day. And that was the first time I'd been introduced to indie music for sure.
He was way ahead of the curve on all that. And
yeah.
So did you get that CD, or did you find that on Bezo as well?
I was at the CD release party. I think he had one in Cincinnati at Pavilion. He came to Cincinnati about 4 times a year, and I'm pretty sure he had a mixed release party for Destination Nowhere at Pavilion. And I think I was just there as a I don't even think I was DJing at Pavilion at that point. I think I was still
that mix was put out by LRG, so I'm sure they put a little So it probably had a little something behind it.
I definitely had the CD for sure.
And so you get the CD, and do you just start what was the site at the time? Hype M or Hype M? Is that where you start finding all this stuff? Hype Machine.
Yeah.
So do you start finding stuff off this, or are you just digging blogs?
All Hype Machine was my life for a while.
So you just Shazam some of the stuff, and then what? You just go down a rabbit hole of starting to find out who these guys are?
I spent so many long sessions on Hype Machine, just like clicking on one song and then just like you said, going down the rabbit hole and finding all this stuff. Like the top 50 was great. And that was everyone's goal, to be on the top 50. And I actually had a couple of remixes back in the day that were in the top 50. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. But you found so much stuff on Hype Machine that no one else knew about, really.
Oh, no, not at all.
And that was, at least you were the first one. That was cool because that was before Spotify and everything, before everyone was requesting songs before they were even released yet, like they do now. And like you could get ahead of a song by, a month or two because you found it on Hype Machine, and that was cool,
Yeah, that Bloghouse era was so massive. It was super cool. And so that evolves. You find the Hype Machine, you find all these edits. How do you start curating this? I mean, honestly, I live and die by your edits. My corporate is Simo, then I DJ. That's how I DJ corporate. Like that is it, period. End of story. So, I'm just fascinated. How do you start building like a catalog, and you start getting like really good at this kind of stuff? And this is still before you're an editor, you're just submitting, so to go back to that question of how you really get in, you're just submitting little stuff here and there.
I mean, I was going to, when I DJ'd early on, I wanted to play what I liked, even though that wasn't quite the correct way to do it. I wanted to DJ music that I liked, and I wasn't, like, when I first started, I wasn't playing full time. So whenever I could play like a house party, I wanted to play a song that I liked instead of what was gonna, make me a professional DJ. And plus I wasn't, I was young. So I just wanted to get all these cool songs, and that was the best way to find them. And I started learning that, you keep seeing the same names over and over again on Hype Machine. You're like, oh, this guy's always on here and everything he does is amazing. So you start to follow him and like follow him on Facebook. And that's how you found like a lot of fan pages. And I think that ended up snowballing into the whole like for download era on SoundCloud. And you start to kind of build this library of artists that are always the ones that whenever they come out with something, it's worth checking out at least. If not, it's, Oliver Nelson, in my opinion, like every time he puts something out, I'm like, yep, like that needs something. And like, that's got to be in my library. And once you learn a lot of these different guys, you can, nowadays it's on Spotify, and Spotify is very intuitive. And when you follow a lot of the artists, Spotify is a great tool to stay on top of new music, especially if you use all the.
Some of the question I have is some of these, I'm starting to find a lot of stuff just on Bandcamp. Do you go through Bandcamp?
Yeah, I do. I follow DJs on Twitter who always promote on Bandcamp, and I'm always down to throw some money at an edit if it's dope. And there's guys that like put that stuff on there all the time, and I love Bandcamp.
So to reiterate and get back on to the topic of what it takes to become an editor, I don't think people understand for probably years, not yourself and me too included, we were submitting edits on the reg to DMS just to like get our name out there in hopes that like our time would come, that maybe one day they'll see our potential and they'll hire us. And it did. It happened. It had happened.
Yeah, I think that was back in like 2010 or 11 when we started submitting edits.
It's 2009.
That was if you still have a Fusemania / Simo edit.
Yeah.
When I went over to Fuse's condo and we just cranked out edits for hours on end.
But
I will iterate. Hey, new DJs out there, it's the exact same thing that we're saying. Go to the freaking club. Go hang out with your favorite DJ, right? Consistency. Admit. Just submit shit. Just keep submitting. Put it out shit for free. It's gonna pay off. Don't just get discouraged. Like
and being aware. This website's already got 10 edits of Lizzo Truth Hurts. We don't need an 11th one. You know.
Oh no, and I honestly, even if it's not record pulls, like email blasts are super helpful. Like I get a lot of email blasts from DJs that are super into just cranking out content and getting their name out there that way, and that's great.
One of the things we kind of wanted to talk to you about was, a lot of people probably don't know this, but aside from DMS, you work for a company called Playback Prodigy, and kind of the DMS led to Playback Prodigy too. Do you want to kind of, explain what Playback Prodigy is, then kind of explain how your DMS, the taste in music for that, led to that?
Sure. So when we were out in Vegas for one of the DMS parties, actually, I think I was in Bellagio, and we were on the casino floor, and I was just kind of walking around, checking everything out. And I kept noticing that the songs that were on and this was back in probably like 2015, 2016, something around there. And I was noticing that a lot of the songs that were being played at Bellagio, I was like, I have edits of this on DMS. And I guess there's a chance that somebody has the same taste in music as me. But I was like, this is cool. Like this casino is playing cool music. I love it. And a few years later, I've come to find out that there's a company called Playback Prodigy who is in charge of the music for many of the casinos in Las Vegas. And it's owned by Shecky Green and Benny C. And they're both super into the DJ culture. And I had met Benny C before that. So I was like, oh, wait. So that wasn't exactly a coincidence. And a few years down the road, they contacted me to help them curate playlists for these casinos, restaurants, and bars across the country. So that's how I got started with them.
So they're both curating. Do you have any say in like what kind of you're editing and you're submitting, or they tell you what to make and you make it?
So there's a few different things that I do. There's a lot of restaurants work out of just to get into the weeds a little bit. Like I put songs into crates for Playback Prodigy, and they're different vibes, more or less, to make it simple. And these restaurants can pick and choose what types of vibes they want to go with. And some restaurants want shorter edits, so I'll do that for them as well. If they don't want, your typical Spotify experience where everything is whatever length it is. If you want to get through more songs, I edit those songs down, and that's one of the things I do. That's
have you noticed moving forward? And I know house is different than what's just people are doing on Spotify for like top rated plays or whatever. But I've noticed just songs in general are now 2 minutes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's
so are you finding yourself editing that way?
No, not many new songs. You're totally right. Yeah, because everyone's attention span is, and I love it. I love the fact that songs are short these days.
Well, I actually read something. It's not specifically just that everyone's attention span, although that is important. They only get paid on the stream. So
yeah,
when the song ends and you want to replay it.
That's why when Old Town Road was only 1 minute and 50 seconds long, one of the reasons that it had so many streams is because it was so easy to listen to 2-3 times.
Now, I love everything about this Playback Prodigy. When I was booking bars, we were doing a couple, like 100 shows, and we were doing all video bars. And one of the big things was Orange Door, and it's similar, but it's all video to Playback Prodigy. Can someone purchase Playback Prodigy that owns a business, or how does that work? And are you actually able to promote and businesses that
sure.
maybe if you're a resident DJ, you're able to sign up, or how does that work?
So in Cincinnati right now, I'm getting started getting Playback Prodigy in the bars that I work at right now. I had a lot more lined up literally in February of 2020. Was it 2020? Yeah. And then
what year was that?
So right.
Was there a year?
It was 5 years ago, right? Yeah. So, and I had I was, rocking and rolling there, but we're getting the system back in a handful of bars here in Cincinnati. So yeah, you can, DJs can definitely help out the curation and be in charge of one of these Playback Prodigy boxes for a restaurant, a bar in their region. We do that.
So is it like a cocktail menu where you're just going down the list and you're like, hey, I want the hip hop brunch and I want this. I want the Motown Sunday.
It depends on the client. Some clients are more picky than others, but we have a lot of different options that are, like I said, it's not really like a genre as much as it's like a sort of a vibe. And because a lot of times on Pandora, if you listen to like a genre station or an artist station, a lot of times it'll be pigeonholed into one thing. Whereas with us, we can group it by BPM. We can move up and down BPM. One of the things I do is I have a set of folders that's 100 to 105, and it just moves around and it doesn't mix together because I personally think that would make it, I don't know. I like the idea that it's still like background type of music, but it does move around the BPM and it's controlled versus a full shuffle that you get on Spotify or Pandora or something like that.
It's so funny that you say that, with the Pandora thing, because I remember, this was probably 2007 or so when I was DJing. There was this one venue. If they wanted just down tempo, they would just type Thievery Corporation. And it was basically just only Thievery Corporation, right? You would just go and you're like, fuck with the sitar, bro. Like, change it up.
Yeah.
And I love Thievery Corporation, but, not for fucking 6 hours, 7 hours or whatever.
There's a bar that likes to play a Pandora Jamiroquai station. And listen, I love Jamiroquai, but... Damn. When like those Pandora stations,
it's like people just Napoleon Dynamite the whole time.
It's Jamiroquai every 5 songs. Like, come on, like I get it. I get you're trying to go for that vibe, but Pandora's going to give it to you every, come on. So that actually one of the other features that one of our employees, Brett B, who is a computer wizard, one of our features is when you play a song by an artist, it learns that you just played a song by that artist and it will not play another song by that artist for 2 hours or however long you want to set the time. But I think we have it set at 2 hours. So that's kind of neat too. And it's something that I'm not aware that exists in other shuffle softwares or whatever.
That is so cool. Is there a website that they can look into this and hit anybody up if they want to have that for their bar in their region?
Ooh, let's see. You would think I would have the website of the company.
One of the things while you're looking this up, I want to say that I remember. Oh, Drew's ready for a shot. I could pour one with you. I'm not driving. I'm not going anywhere.
You're in the studio tonight, though, dude.
I'm in the studio. We're late night recording. I got all kinds of features that have yet to be released back here.
Making beats, custom beats,
making hits. One of the things that I remember is from a tweet. Simo was a certain artist was being played all over Vegas, and a fan of that artist was tweeting them saying, "I can't believe your music's all over these Vegas casinos." And
that was amazing.
And it's like it's only because Simo curates the music, and he's a fan of that, so he's putting it into these places. So
that is the type of thing that makes me that gives me goosebumps. Like I'm not taking any credit. The band was great, good, fine, okay, and I love that band. They're amazing. And they retweeted a fan that said that. And I was like, yes, that's 100%. Like what their experience, and that was cool. Because a lot of people don't know who Great Good Fine Okay is, and they're not on the radio, so it's cool to see them like
That's
know
rad,
that they're
dude.
being blasted in Vegas. It's playbackprodigy.com. There you go.
Playbackprodigy.com. And cheers to DJ still being tastemakers, because Simo is definitely one of those guys still out there.
Simo is a tastemaker. Honestly, real talk. He curates all of my corporate stuff. That's a fact. So if you guys are not DMS subscribers, which shout out to our sponsor, directmusicservice.com, you should be, because Simo does put out amazing edits. Something that people ask me all the time is just for basically cover versions of some of these indie songs, and you have a ton of them on there. DJs, go on there, you're gonna find a ton of really dope stuff.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and we have some playlists that are covers, but also in the search bar of DMS, if you just type in cover, Jason B, who handles most all of the content uploading, is very good about tagging stuff. So if you type in cover, you're going to get a list of songs that are just covers.
Yeah, Drew, you told me about, I think the idea about editing all the covers, and that is a lot of there's a cover by of Mario's "Let Me Love You," but by SJUR. I can't remember I don't know how you pronounce that name, but it's like one of those 105 BPM Major Lazer type remixes, and it's not far enough away from the original that everyone still sings along to it, but it's a cover and it's different, and I love playing that song. I'm surprised that's not in my top 5, to be honest.
So, some of my favorite ones that you've done, that are covers, is there's like a Sam Smith one that's kind of got like it's a La La La, one of like Sam Smith's first songs. Let me see.
Isn't there like an Ashanti one too that you did a mix? You're on that Fire Lane mix.
Oh, the on the Fire Lane mix, was that
was one of? Didn't you do a remix?
I did a blend of, and
That was a blend.
hang on,
It
it wasn't
Ashanti?
it wasn't no, it wasn't Ashanti. I think you're thinking of hang on, let me get
It's
to this real quick.
Oh baby.
Oh wait, I thought you were thinking of Gangsta Lovin'. I started that mix off with Eve, and Gangsta Lovin' blended with something else on my Fire Lane mix, but I'm not sure about the Alicia Keys one.
That whole mix is awesome. I thought it was
Thank
on
you.
there. I'm sorry, but
No, you're good.
let me segue a little bit into, this is my own thing. Simo has a series of mixes, the Indecent Mix series.
Oh, no.
And
I'm slacking on that hard.
DJs, you have them all downloadable on your Mixcloud, right?
They should be, yeah.
Yeah. So DJs, you need to go on Simo's Mixcloud. You need to download every single one of these. I pass them out all the time.
I'll do what I can. I'll make sure to go on there and see that they're downloadable by the time this episode comes out. And if they're not, if I can't figure, I don't know if Mixcloud's weird about that. I'm not sure, but if you just email me, I'll send you.
In the comments, I think you have the Dropbox link.
I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do for all of them.
Honestly, I'm not joking. I pass out this mix all the time. You have like 6 or 7 of them. People are like, "Hey, you got good mixes?" I give them Simo's Indecent mixes. So I think if you're already not a fan and you're already not subscribed to his Mixcloud, make sure you go on there and grab these mix series. You need to do another round, dude.
I guess I do for sure. Oh yeah. This is peer pressure. Okay.
Now that the kiddo's at daycare, you don't got no excuse.
I know, right? I got time. Woo.
So kind of circling it back around a little bit, we talked about how you're a great programmer. And a lot of times when guys download Simo's mixes on DMS, he'll already have them cue pointed out and stuff. So why don't you, there's a couple ends to this question. So if you want to explain the cue points and how you like to set them up. And then also, we said that you're a great programmer earlier on in the show and that you're great at programming. And when guys download your music, they can expect to probably most of it to already be analyzed in Serato and the cue points are set and all that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the method to your madness of using cue points and programming tips and how you like to play and things that you like to do with that?
You set cue points a lot like how I set cue points. So I totally applaud you in that you're an overachiever on the cue points. And DJs, if you don't actually understand, Turns out you have 8 pads on the mixer or on your controller, on whatever. It doesn't actually have to hit anything. It's a marker on what to do. So explain this, please, because I think most of our audience does not understand. You know what really sets me off is when any DJ I watch them play, and they have one cue point at the very beginning, and it's not even on the right point of the beginning, right? It's like before it or whatever. So
See, that gives
explain
me
cue pointing.
So for the longest time, now I'm going to put all these cue points on my edits anyway. So if I submit just about everything I make to Direct Music Service, and if I'm going to put these cue points in my edits, I might as well do it before I submit them. And if you want to change them, then knock yourself out. But I set a cue point on the downbeat, and then at the start of the 5th bar of an 8-bar intro, and then the start of the song at the end of the 8-bar intro, and then usually the 4th cue point will be where it's 8 bars until the outro. And that's what I do for most of my edits. Some are a little different. If there's a 16-bar intro, I'll do one on the downbeat, and then the 9th, and then the 13th, and then the beginning of the song. That's just what I do for most edits. So I feel like if I'm going to submit them, I might as well do DJs a favor and save them a little work. If they want to change them, they can change them, obviously. But that's what I do for all of mine, and I feel like it makes a little bit of sense. So
Shout out to War and Peace, but how I learned how to set my cue points in a quicker manner is now I just do beat jump. Do you fuck with beat jump at all?
I actually don't. I turn the quantize on, and then I'm sure there's probably an easier way to do what I'm doing, but I've been doing it for so long that I just turn the quantize on in Serato so that it matches up exactly on whatever and you got to make sure that sometimes if you submit or if you make an edit and say you want it to be 108 BPM, sometimes Serato will analyze it as being 108.05 or something like that. Make sure that that's 108.00. And then when you quantize where you want your cue points to go, it'll snap right to the grid. And I just turn that on and I go to and you can see 1, 5, 9 and then wherever
DJ,
you need to set.
Make sure you have your grids turned on. That is so necessary.
Yeah,
agreed.
And
that doesn't mean you have to be playing with sync either, but having the grid.
No. I'll be honest. I don't know how sync works. I've tried to figure. I never think to look it up on YouTube. I can't figure out how to use it. If I could figure out how to use it, there are times where I would probably mess around with it, but I can't figure it out. But still, there's definitely a place for that. The beat grid, just for setting cue points.
The grid is like when that came out.
Life.
Yeah,
the grid is life.
Well, the grid was around with Ableton. There was like an Ableton add-on,
Bridge.
I think, for Serato.
Yeah,
Bridge.
Bridge.
Yeah, that was the first time that Serato had, and now it's just built in, which is great.
Well,
but
there are those numbers. Basically, when you close the grid down all the way, it's 1, 9, 17, 25.
Nobody counts
33.
by 8 in odd numbers like a DJ.
No, it's amazing, and grid is life. I think I'm going to do a video here for the Daft's YouTube show on how to set cue points.
Oh
like
man,
Simo.
that's a great idea, and it'll be super helpful. Some people probably don't even know what we're talking about with the grid, which is fine if you don't, but you're going to blow your mind because you're.
I think personally, if I had to set one cue point, obviously, if you're downloading a song that has an intro, so it can, especially if you have the grid on, it can be a little obvious where you want to start playing the song. But the most important cue point to me a lot of times is the outro one, because there are songs that don't have 8-bar choruses. And sometimes if you're really busy, there's someone distracting you, you forget that you're playing Empire State of Mind and it has a 10-bar chorus, and you start mixing because you don't have a cue point. You're like, oh, the chorus started, I got to start mixing. If you're doing intro outro mixing on it, obviously. But if you have that cue point, you're like, oh, wait, this is where I need to do it. And you might as well help yourself because it's right there.
I even have cues set for just censorship, right? Oh, this says an F word, right? I keep the dirty version, but it only says the F word one time in the song. But I want to keep that for the club or whatever. So I have the one. I have like a little purple marker that says censored titled. I just know I hit it if I'm doing a wedding. And
that's another good use for them.
Cue points for anything. in everything.
For skipping. For sometimes I have cue points in the middle of the first chorus and then the middle of whatever chorus I want to jump to make an edit into a short edit on the fly if I don't have one. That's another good use for them.
That's
so I do that too. I do that too, and I'm actually curious because I love your the way you cue point. I'm wondering if you do the same thing. So if it's I will color code the cue points, right? So if that jump to the end matches, like it's the same word and I could hit it, then I put the same color cue point. So that I know in my head.
No,
I know that in my head.
That's more intense than me. Good for you.
Because the reason I do it is because, in all honesty, you weren't able to label what each cue point was back in my days when we used to use the Serato, the Scratch Live. You couldn't do it, so I had to just color code it, and so in my head I do it. But I also love it because, like I said, you got 8 cue points, dude. I don't know what it does. It's just synchronized, right? So I know, that's the next one done, and I hit it, and I know I could jump to the end. Use the outro.
That's smart. No, I've never actually used the beat jump thing. I need to look into that. But at the end of the day, I feel like I just sometimes I feel like if you're gonna go that far with it, you might as well just make the edit and then have. But I guess there are times where like you can decide in the middle of playing a song that you want to play it a different way, and then you can use like on the fly. You could use the beat jump to. Is that what it's called? The Serato?
No, well, I'm with you at the edit. The reason I make the beat jump I use specifically to set cue points. I don't use it like Warren does to like jump around. I use it specifically.
Oh, you don't? You've never used it? Have you ever used the beat jump?
Bro, it's so good for setting cue points. It's crazy. You just set you put it on 1, and then you hit the beat jump, and bam, it's on the 5, and then you hit beat jump, and it's on 9. And then you can hit it a couple more times, and then you're like, oh, there's that outro.
You just
in your sleep.
That's part of my workflow for making edits. So, like, if I knew how to do that, that would save me, 10 minutes. It sounds like
I'm gonna make that. I'll make that video. It's going up on.
Hit me in the Slack again.
YouTube show. I'll make that YouTube show.
I'm kind of with you guys. I very set my cue points pretty much the same way, unless for some reason I forgot, or a lot of times I don't analyze stuff before I submit because I'm just in my head. I'm like, we just got to get it up. But personally, in my library, my cue points are pretty much all the same way. And I do the same with, like, if there's an edit I have and it's the long edit and I have the extra cue points, I set them at the different chorus starts. That way I can jump through. Like, one that I can think of off the top of my head is like No Hands. Like, I pretty much, I'll let the first verse play and I don't want to play the middle verse. So I'll jump to the third verse, which is like the Rusco Dash one or whatever. But like, sometimes it just kind of depends on like how they're reacting to the song still.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Out of it or not.
There's nothing worse than playing a really short edit and then the song goes off when you drop it and you're like, oh no, I'm only playing the chorus and I can tell they want to hear the verse. This is not good.
I did a wedding 2 weekends ago, and I'm not lying. I played a super short edit and the whole place lost. It was Lean With It, Rock With It. Lean With It, Rock With It. I only have like a short edit of it. The whole place lost their mind. I downloaded it on the spot and I loaded it and I quick mixed over and I was like, no, we got it. Yay. Everybody's having fun.
Perfect.
Keep having fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the fun level.
Shout out to mobile hotspots.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't even know if I have a full version of Lean With It, Rock With It too. So
it was going so bonkers that I was like, I'm fucked.
That is such an interesting problem to have. You know what I mean? Like you've clearly played the right song, but not the right version. And you're like,
Well, specifically what had happened is the bride came in from the other room and the second verse should have hit where she would have lost it. And I was like, I'm fucked. Like she was coming into rage with everybody. And I was like, I have to play the rest of this or I'm fucked. Everyone's going to be so sad. Like,
so I got one more question when it comes to programming, and you don't have to give away all your secrets, but when it comes to crate organization, what do you like to do? How do you like to keep your crates organized?
I'm pretty bad at it, to be totally honest with you, but I'm very selective of what I put into my Serato in the first place. So what I like to do is when I make edits or download music, there's songs that I want to keep in my intro folder or my DJ folder. I'm one of those DJs, I'll be honest. I know a lot of people frown upon what I do. I'm most of the time I do intro outro mixing just because that's my style. I like just being clean. So most of my music is intro outro. So some of it goes into that folder and other stuff goes into a folder that I call, I believe it is the club. And it's just what I play at like when it's a good night.
Can you spell that for me? Because now I'm
It's
fascinated.
it's
I
D.
have to
It's
know
in,
what this
first of all,
means.
it's in all caps. It's all caps. It's DA space CLUR and like 7 B's. I think it's what I play at the club, and it's all of the like. If I have a really good night, and I just liked everything that went, I just select all from my history and I drag it into the club, and that way, if next time, and at this point. I feel like I have a decent amount of music in there, and it's a big folder. It's not a very pigeonholed folder. Like it
So
sounds
it's all
like it
your
might
sets
be.
from every night.
Yes, there was one point where I was like, I'm gonna like sit here and think about the last few months and what was a really good gig and what wasn't. And if it was a good gig, I'm just gonna be like, you know what? There's a chance that whatever I played that night might work in the future. So I throw it into Club, and then I just like keep stacking it. And now if I download a song that I'm almost positive will be one of those songs, it goes into that folder. And it makes nights like when I'm at stretch and it's really packed and you really want to be on your A game, to know that you have your bangers all in one spot is super helpful. But past that, to be honest, I don't play a lot of weddings. I play mostly bars, so I would say a lot of my sets are at least in a similar vein. So I don't have to stray too far from that, but that folder is pretty big. But I just know everything that's in there, so I can navigate it pretty well.
So I took a little note from C-Flow, and shout out to him. I think this helps in this little bit of a situation is I have kind of a main folder like you do. I've gone through and make some. I have my main folder like you do, like the club. I think mine's just called club. And then I have
you gotta add some B's and
boring.
Some R's,
yeah, I know.
Boring. The club, bro.
I have
the
club. I have like right now. I have club must play 2021. Right. Anything that I think is big or that is like recent for that year. And I just redid my Serato library, so I kind of got rid of a lot of old stuff. But for the past like 3 years, I'll have club. It would have been like club 2020, club 2019, but obviously since there was no DJing, so I'm pretty much like what we're playing now. But then I have what's called a hip hop bangers folder that I could go to, and that's like where like my hip hop bangers are stuff that I can play real quick that like might not be a banger if I was playing it more than just a chorus, but like let's say like Gucci Man Wasted, like I just want to play the chorus and then I want to play another chorus and then another chorus. I have a hip hop banger folder that's for that. And then I have another folder that I call Sing Along Bar. And it's like, if I get stuck, I can resort to that folder. But the one thing I do with all 4 of these folders is I put little fire emojis next to them, right? So let's say I had to take a pee-pee and you're standing right there. I'd be like, any one of the folders with the fire. And you guys would know, like, those are the folders that you can play out of. And it's going to be fire.
Do you emoji a bunch? Because I have heard a bunch of DJs like do emojis for shit, and I kind of feel like I need to start doing like the emoji route. I have
heard that too, but I don't. But I love it. I love it.
It's just a simple way. Like if I got to step away for a moment, you know.
I also will say one of the other key, like use the all of the ID 3 tag. Info that you can make sure that you have the year on your edits and the genre that it is. That way, if somebody's like, oh, can you play 80s rock? You're like, yep, I have a smart crate for that. And I use that all the time, and it just references. So my degree is in information systems, my bachelor's degree. So I love that whole
nerd.
I'm super nerd. DJ, hey, shout out to DJ Goofy White Kid. It's my favorite DJ name ever. And to be honest, that's my what I went to school for. So I love the idea that you can just, if you're prepared up front with all of the info that you can give for your edit, like if you want to put, I don't know, transition in the genre or the comments or something, and you want to easily find all the transitions in your library, you can use the smart crates in Serato, and boom, there you go.
I mean, honestly, all Serato is an Excel spreadsheet. If you really, nobody looks at it like that, but if you look at it, Serato is just an Excel spreadsheet. It's just information. I mean, I'm a big nerd too, Simo. I actually subscribe to your newsletter.
Hey.
I do everything that you talk about. I honestly do. I think a lot of us at DMS have kind of geeked out on some of this stuff. So DJs, you should be over tagging. You can never under tag, right?
Yeah.
It's like over tag.
Of course.
So
Totally
do you
agree.
use a lot of? I am a huge smart crate guy. Do you use a lot of smart crates?
I do, especially if I have one that's clean, and it looks for, if all of my, it's super simple, but if it looks at my main folder, and if anything doesn't say the word dirty in it, it puts it into one folder. It might not be clean, but it's a zero effort way to not play. It filters out explicit and dirty, I think, or whatever you would use to flag an explicit edit. And that way, if you're at a casino or private gig and you're really in a pinch and you're looking for something, like, just go to that and you should be good to go, as long as your file names are correct and what's dirty is dirty and what's clean is clean. Then I love it for that. I love it for genres too, like rock and indie. I have hip hop. I have one that's just bootleg, like it looks for the word bootleg and blend. Just a real quick and easy way for Serato to do some of the work for you, because I feel like I do a lot of work, and whatever can be done for me, sign me up.
That should be a short video tutorial too, Drew, where we just do a smart crate, how to properly use a smart crate. Maybe we can even convince our friend Simo here to make us one.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Like I said, we got daycare now, so I got time. We can knock some stuff out.
So one of the things that we're doing,
Simo,
and we haven't really got to, Warren was supposed to give us a video for this episode today, but he is busy and didn't get around to it. But Simo, this would be great. We want videos from past people that we've interviewed to kind of just keep them in the loop with what we're doing. So if you would love to make like a quick screenshot video of, hey, this is how I make a smart crate, we would totally love that. And
yeah, sure, man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That would be one of the closest I got to actually using my college degree that I have in quite some time.
No, I think
my mom would be very happy if I did.
Well, even how you tag a file. Honestly, if I could get how Simo tags a file, I think that would be so rad on many levels. Just, maybe do 2 or 3 all different ones. Hey, a transition, an indie file, a hip hop file. Yeah,
I'll say just make sure you just be consistent. If I had to say one thing about as long as everything follows a similar pattern,
I would say consistency and also not overthinking it. I think sometimes people want to go country, dubstep, bluegrass, indie meets pop, right? It's like dumb it down. What are you going to actually play it with? It's not country, bluegrass, dubstep, right? It's
That's why my favorite crate is Declurb, is because it's everything. Everything is in there. So that's what I like to play out of, because it's stuff that I know is going to work, but it's not all. It's a quite open format.
Side note, Fuse, if we were to start naming episodes, Declurb is now Simo's episode title.
Hang on,
this episode. Declurb.
Everybody
needs like that random thing that they said in it. Right?
There's only 5 B's. There's not 7. I was exaggerating a little bit.
Like Master Monk was Master Monk, aka
Pizza.
Pizza, yeah, of course.
That's hilarious. So a question that Drew wants to ask is, he had it for the first time when he was here last. He had it for the first time when he was here last.
Okay, this is a Skyline question. Go for it.
It is a Skyline question. It is. It's a Skyline question. Hit him.
Is Skyline chili overrated?
Over. I mean,
We gave Scooter is Philly cheesesteaks overrated, and he had to choose. So we're asking you.
I don't think it's overrated. I think it's. I think Cincinnati's got better things to offer than Skyline. Personally, I love Skyline. I eat Skyline all the time, but the fact that everyone immediately thinks of Skyline, I love Graders. I love Geta, not David Geta, Gleer's Geta.
Drew had both of those things. I made
okay.
him
Okay, see, I eat Geta more often than I eat Skyline. So,
he gave me
but
David
I do
Guetta.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got it in the breakfast sandwich form. So he had bread,
Okay.
Geta, egg, cheese.
Yeah, there you go.
That
Nice.
was awesome.
You got one of the
I loved it all.
Fusamania breakfast sandwiches. Nice.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got one.
Classic quarantine Fusamania, just sitting there.
I love it. I love it.
What are we having for breakfast this morning? And I was lucky enough to have it, so it was awesome.
That was definitely one of those little nuggets from the quarantine that was always fun to look forward to.
So before we get a little out of the DJ realm, we have a couple questions, and I want to read them while you're here because you'll be good to answer these. We had a question on YouTube, and it was from Mike Holiday. And Mike Holiday, we might have answered this question a little bit. Mike Holiday said, I'm interested in learning how to produce my own edits using Ableton. Do you have any suggestions on which Ableton product to start with? Now, are there any specific videos or education spots on the web you may suggest to learn more about automation and warping with Ableton? So,
okay.
I was just going to say, I'm on Ableton 10. I haven't made the switch to 11 yet. Drew, are you on 10?
I'm on 10. I'm only hesitating on 11 until once 11 drops M1. I'll pay for the upgrade.
Same.
The day
is M1 not supported?
It's on beta.
Yeah.
It's on beta right now.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm on 10 right now.
So yeah, we're all on 10 in here. And what I will say is, if you actually think that Ableton is something that you're actually going to make the time to learn, I would say at least buy Ableton Standard. If you're going to spend any money, I would say it's worth buying Standard. You get some of the sample pack, you get a couple extra features. But in terms of, and you guys could probably both agree with me, and Simo, you could suggest maybe another thing of how you actually learned. But in terms of learning how to warp and use the warp features, if you just search on YouTube how to warp in Ableton, there's going to be an unlimited amount of videos that you're going to find that are going to say, hey, let me teach you warping in Ableton. And the only reason I suggest that is everybody learns a little differently. But what I will suggest is mastering that warping, because once you master warping, Ableton becomes a whole lot easier to use. And if you guys want to add anything to that question.
I would just say, actually, the number one thing that anytime I teach somebody about Ableton is just understanding what the windows are. It's really not that hard, but people look at it and they look at the view that none of us use with all of the, the samples, and they're like, what does it do? I don't know.
Just hit the tab. Just hit the tab button, bro.
Tab button, bro. That's the line number 2. Tab button, bro. Tab button, bro. And flips it over, and then we're in it, and then you can open it up, and then just understanding what each little section does. Honestly, I have every time I open Ableton, I have a template that I've created. It's saved.
Same thing.
Every time I open it, I know exactly what it does. It's there. I could do an edit in under a minute. Because
I love that. I love the template. That's an amazing. I have a limiter on my master chain. I don't have a lot in my template, but the fact that you could put whatever you want in there and not even worry about it, it's super personalizable, and it's great.
I wasn't even using anything on the master except for the stock Ableton limiter. I actually just bought Ozone Black Friday because It's a $250 plugin that was for sale for $79. But the Ableton limiter is pretty good built in. I mean,
that's another thing I'll say with Ableton. If you're just starting in Ableton, everything that's built into Ableton is super powerful and super helpful, and you don't need to spend any more money right out of the gate. If you're making edits, you can, everything that you want to do with making an edit, you can probably use what is built into Ableton Live.
I will run myself under the bus. Outside of just doing basic edits and warping, that's all I do in Ableton. I'm not remixing. I'm not.
I told Fuse earlier this week about Ozone, and I was like, I spent many sleepless nights learning all the ins and outs of Ozone. I don't know, 5, I think, is what they were on at the time, and it's a super powerful tool, but it's also something that sucks a lot of CPU power. And if you're not actually using it, it's expensive, and it is a powerful tool. But
but once you update to that M1 and you stop living in what was it, a Toshiba?
Come on, I didn't have a Toshiba at that time.
Once you get rid of that Toshiba, you're able to like run it on the M1. You know,
he's got the M1 now.
I talked him into it.
I got the M1 now. Yeah, I got my dongle right here, Drew. The stupid 2 USB ports. So nonsense from
God. Apple. Look at my boy brought over the other day that new Mac, and it's beefy, and I want one. My wife hates me because that's all I want. I still think the M1 is just powerful. I don't know that I'm not doing anything that crazy.
I love this laptop.
That I need to have the beefy one, dude. The M1 is so good. It's more of just if I really wanted that screen.
Here's the thing.
Because I'm a big nerd.
I went off on you because you're all about the new tech. This is not a MacBook Pro. This is a MacBook Air Pro. That's what this thing should be called, because if they're going to have one that they're going to release a year later with all the ports you could need as a professional user of a Mac, that's the MacBook Pro. This is a MacBook Air Pro, and I still love it. But
you got the Pro. You didn't get the Air, right? Like the original M1, not the yeah. Like the name.
It's
the
insane.
name is so
insane.
dumb.
It's an amazing laptop, and the price is unbeatable.
Bro, the battery and the fact that the fan doesn't turn on it's just bonkers, dude. It's
the best computer I've owned.
Dude, hands down. I want to get rid of every Intel machine I have, and I still leave one in my bag. And the fact that it's in my bag right now makes me hate life. That's how mad I want to buy a Toshiba just to replace it.
No, come on. That was 10 years ago, Drew.
Longer than that. That was like 2009, 2008, somewhere in there. Yeah. So that Toshiba was like a 17-inch too. That dude would put up on a laptop stand.
It was big.
Between Simo wearing his old ball caps.
It was one of the laptop stands that was like 10 separate pieces that you had to put it all together every night.
That laptop stand,
my
dude.
goodness.
And it was the worst. It was so wobbly, and there was like 1,000 pieces to it, but you're like,
it still sucked.
Nope.
And it still was terrible.
Like this thick then. Like that Toshiba was like this thick, and it's sitting on a stand that can barely hold it.
The Stanton Uber stand needs to be in the Hall of Fame of DJing.
Yeah.
It actually does. That is.
It needs for sure.
So we have one more question that I wanted to read, and we actually got this question a while ago, and I think we just got distracted and never answered it on the show. I won't say his DJ name just for confidentiality reasons, but he's somebody I know, and he asked a question, and it's a little lengthy, so bear with me. He gives us a little background. So he says, a little background. I've been at my residency for about 5 to 6 years. I'm a main DJ on Fridays and Saturdays. The last 4 to 5 years, we were it. With COVID shut down, we were remodeled and opened and were booming. Then a bar opened up across town, so the crowd got a little smaller, which was fine because, there's no, I don't care about a little competition. Then another bar drops their band list and the crowd goes there as well. I hear some stuff going on with them. My crowd gets a little smaller to the point where we're closing on weekends because the crowd just isn't there. Now my mind starts to go a little crazy. Like, is it me? What's going on? The people I talk to are like, no, it's not you. We love you. The staff says the same. We've been out at those places and they are giving drinks away and they are giving stuff away to keep people at these newer spots. My boss and owner says we're just going to ride it out and that people will eventually be back to a better quality product. We're not stressed for money, so I'm not going to worry about it. He says, now I'm loyal to that place because they have my back. I bought new sound equipment, hooked up all of their equipment. He does the promo for the bar, which he also gets paid for as well. But he just says, what I'm saying is he feels like he's stuck in limbo, just looking on some advice on how we would feel about that situation.
I mean, that's pretty intense. That's a
I have some thoughts because I always have thoughts. You know me.
Lead off.
I'm a hater by nature, as
I'll think more as your
Jonathan
answer.
would like to say, hater by nature. So it's tough because we as DJs like to. I am very much a creature of habit in a lot of ways. Of like I feel him because that's kind of where I'm at right now. I play for. And Simo's kind of in the same boat. It's just a little larger boat. I play for one owner. They own 2 bars. So, it's the same, but a little different. My suggestion would be, and this would be to any DJ across the board, is always keep options open in terms of you can't put your eggs all in one basket. If they're all in one basket, you better be the guy holding the basket, the guy who bought the basket. I think that, you stay loyal with them because they've been loyal to you. But I also think that it's not a bad idea to, if you're getting offers for other gigs, that are an hour away or whatever, that you take those gigs, because taking a gig in a different city or a different area, an hour away is not hurting the money at that bar. Nobody's driving an hour to go to a bar. And if they are, it's a special occasion or something like that. They're out of town or whatever. So I would say take the gigs that you can when they're coming, because you want the opportunity always. If that bar closed tomorrow, you don't want to be screwed. But at the same time, when you're taking those other gigs, make sure that the guy you're putting in your spot is somebody who you would trust to do the job that you would do too. You can't have, if you consider yourself an A-class DJ, you don't want to have a D-class DJ filling in, because that's doing nothing for the bar, it's doing nothing for you, and it's doing nothing for the whole circle of what you're trying to achieve, which is basically get people back to that bar. I don't know if anybody else have any input.
I honestly can't think of any. Like that's yeah.
It is a tough situation. I don't know that I have the answer for it. I just think everything that Fuse said in that don't put all your eggs in one basket is very true. Don't burn any bridges, but at the same time, keep some options open. Specific nights like a Saturday or a Friday where you're able to bounce around a little bit more. You should definitely take those and try and grow something, but that's a tough thing, man.
I would even say maybe you have a bud that's like a DJ bud and like somebody maybe that you've been grooming. And if you don't have that, maybe it's time to try to start finding somebody that is like going to be, everybody's got somebody they work with. Simo and I are like that a lot, like somebody we can always count on to cover a gig and do a good job. And I think that, maybe removing yourself, let's say Saturdays are the better night and Saturdays are the night that's easier to get a gig elsewhere. Maybe, you start by saying, okay, the first Saturday of every month, I'm going to keep that off. I'm going to plug my bud in here who's up and coming. And I'm going to take that Saturday as a challenge to go and book myself at another bar, every Saturday. And then maybe it gets to the point where you're like, I'm going to do 2 Saturdays every month somewhere else. And then you're still, not going too far away from,
what to add on to everything you're saying is when I did end up venturing out, I took on a new gig and, it wasn't where I wanted to be, but I just told them, hey, I'm going to send somebody the next week. And they were like, wow, you would do that for us? And that ended up into me booking 100 nights a month for their entire company. And so you could turn something into something brand new just by keeping your options open or having people that work with you and trust you and will help build on top of what you're already building. So,
yeah, I mean, it seems like he has a really good like pulse on the situation, and to just, you know, I think he clearly gets what's going on, and to just be able to make the best of the situation for himself and the bar, and just to, I don't know, that's I understand the loyalty aspect of it, but you know, at the end of the day, as long as you have everyone's best interest in mind, then but at the same time, you know, you got to look out for number one. You know, like as bad as it is, like I don't know how personal you are with this establishment. Like you also
And I
never
would
want to go down with the ship, you know. Like
I would also want to know like how many bars per capita or in that area are there, right? So you guys are in a downtown city. You got other places, right? The same with I'm in Southern California. There's one on every fucking corner. So if you're in, you know, Okefenokee and there's only 2 bars, yeah, you know, stick with the main one. I don't have that answer. That's a great question though.
I wish I did.
And I just want to say I appreciate the question.
Yeah.
We appreciate questions like that, because if you're going through it, chances are another DJ is going through it. And, you know, we're not sitting here claiming to be like the end all be all of knowing what to do with your DJ career, but we think a lot of times we've probably been in the same situation as you and can maybe be a little more vocal about what we would have done, or maybe we would have done different, which also kind of leads me to our next question is for Simo, is what is something that you know now that you wish you would have known when you first started DJing?
I think there's one thing that I hear from a lot of DJs, and it's like, oh, our job is to make people dance. And it's no, it isn't. Your job is very literally to make the bar more money. If you're at a bar, your job is to make the bar more money than if you weren't there. And that's as plainly as you can lay it out. And that doesn't mean that you don't want to, obviously alienating your entire crowd is not the move, because then the bar wouldn't make as much money, but you don't necessarily want to, I don't know, you have to learn how to kind of
rotate the dance floor.
Yeah, exactly. You can't play for one specific type, and I'm not sure how to really elaborate on that, but your job is to make the bar more money. Yeah, rotate the dance floor. Yeah, that's an easy way to lay it out. It's easy to say, like, I'll rotate the dance floor, but
I only say that because I used to have this asshole of a manager that would come up and be like, when the bar was empty, he'd be like, rotate the dance floor, rotate it. It was so bad where I was like, holy fuck, dude. Like, I was being attacked. Like, is there an army? What's going on right now? You know, like, he was just sending everybody at me, like, rotate it now.
I would also say with that statement of what Chris made, it's a great thing of knowing that. And it's also your job not to be playing spring break music when it's not spring break in the bar. Like, knowing turn. Listen, go for it.
Okay. So, that would be one. If I had to give a second piece of advice, learn when what you're doing is awkward. Like, you need to know there's been so many times where I've been in a place where whatever the DJ is playing, there's no one to call out here, but I'm like, how does this guy not know that the whole room thinks that what he's currently doing is weird and awkward? Like, just do what the whole, and to me, I think like learning what that feels like is one of the best skills you can have as a DJ is learning that what you're going to play next probably isn't going to make everyone think that what you're doing is awkward, because that happens. And obviously I'm guilty of taking throwing a big curveball in a night, and I'm like, whoops. Learn that lesson, and then like by the next chorus, I'm on to something else. Sometimes you have to like fish around for a while, but you need to know when what you're doing is awkward. And if what you're doing is awkward, then do something else. And I think that's a feeling, and it's not necessarily anything other than a feeling.
I'll add to this, in that I was telling somebody recently, I feel like to really have that feeling specifically as a younger DJ or whatever, it's going out. It's just being a quote unquote dancer, standing on the dance floor, whether you're not dancing, you are or you're not dancing, and just watching the awkwardness, right? When you're doing a wordplay and it goes, into it loops something and then it goes into something else, and you go, I guess that was clever, but I can't dance anymore for the last 2 minutes. Knowing that the little boundary of when you're not reading the room anymore, really.
This stuff doesn't happen overnight. You're not starting DJing today and a year from now being this, superstar DJ. There's in this video screen right here, there's like 50 years of combined DJ experience.
I can give you an awkward moment of mine from a week ago. I played Stay by Kid Laroi, and it's done. Like I played it at a night, and everyone in the room went from I played an acapella out into that song, and it's been huge forever, and it still works in certain places, but like, wow, okay, so we're done with this. Like, this is awkward right now. Like, I'm playing this overplayed pop song right now, and they don't want that. Let's go to the more obscure stuff. And you need to know that, like, not just because a song is in the Billboard doesn't mean that it's popping. Like, and just if it's awkward, it's awkward. You got to move on to something else.
Stop staring at your laptop and look at the crowd, right?
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. Sometimes you just got to remember to look up, because it'll tell you everything you need to know.
Talk about overplayed pop songs. Something that I'm arguing with, shout out Digital Dave, who will be on the podcast here shortly. But he's in a heated argument with me about Chris Brown, 3 times. I say it's shit and it should be not deleted, but basically never played again. He's saying that it should still be played.
It was one of my biggest songs on Sunday.
Yeah, okay, well, you're the worst. You're not helping me at all. But he did text me a video of it, and it was, it was like people not like going, is it big in your mind where you think it's big? He sends it to me. He sends me this video and he goes, bro, I don't know. It's crushing. And I'm looking at the dance floor and they're sad. They're sad. They're like, yay.
I'm pretty sure I have the Donk Clapapella intro into the acapella. You like to drink, so do we.
That's
and
the
then
only one to play if you're gonna play.
And then I'm out of it very quickly. I'm not sticking in for any verses of it.
Okay, but I still argue that, are they sad, or would a newer song have crushed harder? I don't know that it crushed in your same theory. If you're playing it so quick, you're not really paying attention. They didn't leave the dance floor. Is my argument.
That's fair.
I would say, for me, this is how I feel. There's a remix that I like to play of it, but if I'm not playing that remix and I'm playing the Donk one, like let's say I'm just playing at the bar.
Maybe we need the Donk one into that remix.
Maybe that's the one.
Can you sign that and send that to me?
Yeah, we can do it. Actually, I like to call it a filler that works. Like, for me, it's never going to be the like the hypest song. If I'm playing 150 to 200 songs, about 35 of them are hype throughout the night. But it's like one that like is a good get from one to the next.
Listen, 100%. I'm agreeing with you guys. But if I'm doing a wedding, which he's talking about in this essence, and I have 130, 200 songs in a night, it's shit, bro. It's a shit song. It's not good. It's all right.
All right.
I like it.
He's dying. He's dying on that hill.
Shout out Digital Dave. We're just gonna piss him off. I'm here to piss him off, so he can get mad at me.
I'm clipping this clip right here, and I'm gonna put it all over the internet. Just so
he's got you 3-1.
Talked about,
dude. He's got me. Drew. He's got me on a screenshot, and he's got me on a fucking half-assed fist bump. I'm sorry. At this stage, you tell me you play it hook only.
I'll say this: I play a lot more corny stuff at 130 BPM than 3 times. I get real corny at 130 BPM.
I would rather play fucking One Direction into Grease than 3 times, right? Which is something that I do, and that actually crushes. That crushes me.
Where's that video? Do you have proof?
Well, I have proof of me playing Shania Twain at peak hour, crushing. Let's see. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Speaking of Grease,
now I'm mad.
I got to tell you guys this little story real quick. All right. So, I was just recently in New York City, and we met up. I was with Saab, who owns the bar and the club that I play for, and my girlfriend, and we met up with another guy that we knew who is living and working up there. His name's Zach for story purposes. Well, Zach was like, "Hey, I'm out in the West Village. Come meet me at this bar." We were like finished up with dinner, and we went out in the West Village, and we met him at a bar. That bar was closing. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but since COVID, New York is definitely a city that sleeps. That whole rumor of the city that Frank Sinatra once sang about, yeah, it ain't like that anymore.
I was there in December of 2019, like right before everything, and it's kind of crazy. But continue.
Yeah,
I was in there right before it happened.
We go to this bar in the West Village, and we go into it, and it's a piano bar. It's a piano bar, and the guy's playing piano. But when we walk in, the piano player's on break, so we don't really know what's going on. Well, come to find out, it's a musical theater bar, and they only do musical theater. The first song he played was Grease, and it must have been like Grease themed night because he did like 3 or 4 Grease themed songs in the time we were there. But Simo, it just makes me think of Step Brothers where he's like, no, Zach was like, hey, what's it take to get like some Piano Man? And he's like, we strictly only do musical theater. We don't
That's what
play
I tell
anything else but musical theater.
Everyone who asks me what music do you play, I tell them I strictly do 80s Joel.
It was quite amazing.
Oh my god, that's
everybody
crazy.
was there.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
And it was just I couldn't help but think of that story when we were talking about.
Oh man.
I don't even know how we got into it now, but that's what it made me think of. Strictly musical theater.
Wait. What I'll say is anytime somebody asks me what kind of music I play, it's always bluegrass dubstep. That is it. and when they look so sad, they're just like it's like that doesn't exist. Why are you asking?
I don't know, dude. You could have like dubstep remix that Devil Went Down to Georgia.
I sent you guys a little video of me playing Shania Twain peak hour at the end of a club.
Awesome. I can't wait to check it out.
All right,
I believe you. Hey, put up or shut up.
That shit is Crush City. Dave is wrong on 3 times Chris Brown because that is not Crush City where you're like half-ass fucking yeah. No. Look on my Instagram. So that shit is fucking slamming, dude.
Listen, so what you're saying?
I'd rather piss everybody off than that.
You're saying that 3 times is like the Return of the Mac, Usher type crushing. No. I know, but what I'm saying is it's easy. It's low hanging fruit. But you're saying what you're doing is what's crushing.
No. Actually, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying 3 times is a fucking B-side, right? Return of the Mac is fire, right? That's
no, but like, but you talk shit about it as far as like it being a basic song.
I'm saying look at the difference. That is Crush City where the whole bar is jumping up and down and losing their shit.
But you don't think the whole bar's up and down for 3 times, really?
No, bro.
I should have taken video on Sunday.
The new conga
on Sunday.
The new conga challenge. The new conga challenge right now.
I'll send you a video. I will send you a video.
Digital Dave. I'm fighting Digital Dave. The new conga challenge is 3 times. You guys show me.
I'm in.
And tag Drew and Fuse that it's crushing. I don't want the dance floor's busy. I don't want to show me your fucking Serato. I want to see that shit's crushing. If that's crushing, hey, I'm wrong. I would love to be proved wrong. It's just that I'm not. It's a shit song, dude. It needed to be retired. It's not fucking a banger, dude. Let's play something new.
He's dying. It's another hill that Drew's dying on. Is that 3 times?
I personally love this because I can't wait for the inbox to be flooded with 3 times videos. Whether
I hope it is. I'm
taking
video for sure.
I'm starting a war. I'm starting a war. It's so good. I'm
going to be the unbiased official because I say like I play it, but I don't think it's like that hype of a song. So if you
I didn't before Drew took this stance. Now I'm a stand for the whole thing. I'm in.
If you send us,
wait, hold on. Hit him. I'm gonna show you real quick.
if
The
you
Dave
hit
thing
us
right
with
here.
yeah 3 times, you're either getting a fire, meaning that I think it was popping, or you're getting a thumbs down. And the thumbs down doesn't mean that I'm giving you the thumbs down for your DJing. I'm giving you a thumbs down in terms of so we can keep track. And by the next time this comes out and we record the next video, so we'll say 2 weeks. We're gonna give it 2 weeks for people to send us the yeah 3 times. I'll go back and tally all the fires I gave and all the thumbs down.
Wait,
So
I'm gonna play the one that Dave sent me, and you guys, I'm sorry.
I love
right,
this.
hold
I
it
love
up.
this
Let's
so
go.
much.
Let's go. Okay, yeah, I agree. That does
No, the
look like
dance
people are
floor's
standing
full, but
around
they
a little
look like
bit.
they're like, it's fine. He said it to me, and I said, listen, Dave, they're still on the dance floor because you're a good DJ. Period. End of story. They trust you at this point, and they're on board. That doesn't count for the fact that that song still sucks. They just trust you. You're a good DJ. They're like, the song before it was good,
I
and then
understand.
the next song is going to be good. But yeah,
That's fair.
I kind of agree with
can
what you're
stay
saying.
or go.
Again, and that's not us dissing Dave at all, because Dave's a great DJ.
No.
And
I'm
I
saying
agree.
100%. Dave is fucking an awesome DJ. He's one of my favorite DJs. This is saying that song sucks.
This is good. I love this only because it's such like I cannot wait for the commotion it's gonna cause, and I love it.
It's just saying the song sucks. It's not saying that he's a good DJ or a bad DJ.
love it.
In fact, if anything,
love
I'm
it.
complimenting. I'm saying
You
he's
made
such a
this
good
work.
DJ
Good for you.
that
Yeah.
he made it work. But dude,
Okay.
why I brought up the Shania Twain was the fact that crushed, right? Do you understand the difference of what I'm saying? This is, I guess
I do.
I'm here
You threw a
with
big,
Shania where they're like,
Yeah.
losing their shit. Like, that's what I'm saying. Watch, I'll turn off the music. Wait.
This is not good radio.
No, that is Crush City, right? Yeah, no, that's
For
not
everyone,
Crush City, bro.
for everyone listening
Crush
on
City,
Spotify, this is
non-Crush
great
City.
material.
This is the kind of quality we are looking for here. So to circle back around, not to get too off subject tonight.
No. Let's rewind a little bit. It's really weird, and I think eventually we need to talk about this in deeper length. But I curate songs in like this is an A song, a B song, a C song, right? For instance, I will just say something that comes up on playlists. I do a lot of weddings, so Rihanna, We Found Love, right? And then Only Girl in the World, Rihanna, We Found Love, A. Only Girl in the World, B. And then what's the other one that she has with Calvin Harris that flopped but was like pretty good?
This Is What We Came For.
I was gonna say I play S&M a lot. I don't know if you have. That's not Calvin Harris though. I don't. That's not.
Yeah, this is what we came for. Actually, you're right. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
This is what we came for.
Yeah, it's
the
like
hook and the drop of that. The drop is so anticlimactic. It just falls flat, right? They love the hook. Should be good. You can't bootleg it. It's just shit. It's a shit song. Chris Brown, 3 times. Listen. This is what we came for.
It's not. I don't think
it's a
like
C
there's a
song.
There's a chance. There is a chance. There is a chance that Calvin Harris doesn't need every single song that he makes to be a festival banger. Like it's still a good song.
Calvin Harris. No. You're missing the point. I'm not talking about Calvin Harris's fucking DJ catalog. I'm talking about the song, right? You categorize every song, right? I'll listen to Calvin Harris if I'm just on Spotify. Like Slide.
I don't play that song. I'm just being devil's advocate.
No,
I guess.
but yeah, Slide is a banger, right? Like it's a good fucking song. But are you playing it ever? No, dude, I was DJing a wedding the other night. Someone came up peak hour, played Slide. I was like, get the fuck out of here! I'm not playing Slide.
That's not. Yeah.
I think what you're saying is Dave might categorize. You're categorizing, 3 times as a C song. Maybe Dave's categorizes that as a B song. I don't think that it deserves the A rating at all, personally.
No, I actually
agree.
know where I know where Dave stands with it. he's doing it for a specific reason, and this is what makes Dave. This was what makes Dave a good DJ. He plays it, which I don't, and this is where I said I'm wrong on this. Is he plays it specifically on the call and action part. You love to drink, yeah. So do we,
For sure.
yeah. I totally respect that part of it. It's just that the rest of the song flops, right? They're like,
So listen, I don't
fine.
know how Digital Dave DJs, but in all the 4EG bars that I play in Cincinnati, their company policy is really they don't want us on the mic. So that's one of those songs that if you can, like, it's one of those ones that you can kind of use the song itself to get a little bit of crowd interaction. Like the same with, All I Do Is Win. And I mean, I think it's just low hanging fruit, but I think it still works. I get it that it's a B song and I wouldn't like look forward to playing it, but I think it still works.
Simo, this interview is making me super happy right now. Let me bust your balls a little bit. How many songs a night are you playing? So I used to book 100 shifts, 100 shifts a month. Okay.
Okay.
And when I would book that, I would have a manager call me and say, that DJ sucked tonight. Why was it? And I would go, I don't know. And then I would hit the DJ up and I would be like, send me your playlist. He was playing 80 songs in a night.
Ooh,
and then the next guy, the next night I would be like, yo, send me your set. Bro, it was 150 minimum if he was milking it, 200 plus if he wasn't. It's not that he's a better DJ. He's probably playing the same exact shit. He's playing double the amount of songs. Okay. Yes. Yeah. 3 times, quote unquote, fills a bar quota. I'm not saying that as a good DJ that's playing multiple songs. Again, it's what I said to Dave. It's just that it's not a good song. That it's not like a go-to. You could play like 1,000 others. It's not really crushing it, is my point.
I feel you. I get it.
I will say
my number one played song was Tempo by Lizzo. It's not that it's the biggest banger. It's that it just, you got it. It's one of those songs like, 3 times, the same thing. Like it works, but it's not the biggest song of the night. It's just like, it's something that gets me from one song to the next in that same BPM.
That is one of the things that Drew just mentioned is been one of the things that I think both Simo and I could say when we were playing at the same bars, because we're not anymore. We would get that all the time. We love when one of you two are here. And it's basically because we just know that him and we were playing just more songs. That was pretty much it. I know the other guys, and this is no disrespect to them. I just know that some of them weren't hitting the songs as quick because, like I just told you earlier in this episode, I have a hip hop folder that it's just me stringing choruses together. Chorus for like 25 songs in that, to where I'm like, and you know what that does for me is that just gets people like, if I can't get anything going in the room, I can go to that folder and I guarantee playing those songs that quick in that order, like building the energy, is going to get it going. It's just going to in the bar. And
because the song in itself isn't good is the point.
It's rapid. It's the
rapid fire, dude.
Yep.
Like it is so
I call it Mike Tyson's Punch Out, right? So, basically if you guys had old Nintendos, I call it, this is Mike Tyson's Punch Out. You're the little kid, you go up against Mike Tyson, you're like this, and you're just like, the only way that you win is to keep knocking him upside the fucking head, dude. You're like, whap, 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 whap. It's the only way that everybody's like, oh my God, something's happening.
Now,
but if you're just playing all the songs out, nobody cares. It's boring,
now,
dude. Go listen to Spotify. I
completely agree. And for anybody newer that might be listening or thinking, oh, well, I'm not playing that many songs. Well, I would say anybody needs to be figuring out how to be playing songs like quicker in a sense. There is a right way.
You need to learn how to do it correctly.
Yeah,
that's what I was just going to get at. There's a correct way to do it and there's a complete wrong way to do it. Because let's be honest, in a lot of these songs that are 10 plus years old, I always say this one because it's just so easy. And I've probably said it on the show before. If I'm playing Bottoms Up, I'm not playing the Nicki Minaj verse. It's the verse everybody wants to hear. They want that salt all around that rim. You know what I'm
I thought
saying?
it was a Nicki Minaj song. I didn't even know somebody else was on the song.
That's it. But there are parts to every song like that. There are parts. Okay, for example, yeah, 3 times. You want to drink? Yeah. So do we? Yeah. Like
That's the only part. That's the bridge. That's the end of the song, right? That's not even like the main part of the song.
Unless you got that fire donk at it.
Dude, you got that fire donk at it, then it's a wrap.
Yeah. Then you know that he switched it to the front. We got one more question. It's one thing we always like to say. What new technology are you on?
Oh yes, okay. I mean, I totally Apple fanboyed out for the last couple months. So via your correspondence to Fuse about the MacBook Pro, I got the M1. That thing's been incredible. I know I talk shit about the USB ports, and I think that's a little silly, but just get yourself a nice dongle, and you'll be all right.
Which dongle did you get, dude? Because
I got the Anchor. So listen, I'm really into backpacking, and backpacking, like the battery pack company to trust is Anchor, and they're very reliable. And if you're in the middle of the woods, you don't want a battery pack to fail. So why not use it for DJing too? So the Anchor dongle, I can't unplug it because I'm literally using it right now. But one's the movie. Yeah. I told Fuse about it. Yeah, that's the one I have plugged in.
Well, I'll just say I'll say specifically, I ended up buying the CalDigit one only because it has a removable USB-C to the dongle itself. So it could be a different length. It could be a different length, that it doesn't have to be like hanging off your laptop.
I do hate that it's like a 6-inch pigtail to the actual dongle. I hate that.
That's what I like about the CalDigit one. It's just that it has that extended.
Other new tech is the Apple Watch. I finally am on Team Apple Watch here, and
nice.
It's been amazing for running and all that stuff.
Which one did you get?
I got the in between one, not the one of the
SE.
SE, yeah, the SE. Because honestly,
all you need.
It rubs me the wrong way that Apple's like, oh, an always on technology is what's better about these. Like, why is that not a software update? Why is that a hardware thing? That doesn't make any sense. You guys are rubbing me the wrong way right now. Like, you could 100% be on all the way, like all the time. Like, why is that not on here? But
you're right. But I'll be a Apple fanboy, and which I am. It's fine. At me, War and Peace with your giant iPad phone, but the always on comes down to battery issue, and that's always an Apple thing. They're always like proponent of battery. So why is this one not always on? I don't get it. It's the battery issue. It's the screen and the battery issue. It doesn't have the same. It's just not the same thing for that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's 100%. You should be able to turn it on and be like, "Fuck battery, I don't care." But
yeah, I don't understand why that's like the 6 series has an always on display. Like, you really mean to tell me that you can't just let the other watches always be on? That doesn't make any sense.
It comes to battery. It comes down to battery. That's the one Apple thing that's almost insulting to its customers, that they're like, oh, we can't figure out how to keep your SE watch on all the time. Like, really? I bet you can. Anyway, you're right.
This is new tech here. The MacBook Pro, and then the iPhone 13 Pro is the one for sure. Like that. I sent Fuse a picture. Like, I'm an Apple fanboy the last couple months, but the picture I took at night inside of Igby's on Thanksgiving Eve, I was like, whoa. Dude, I've never just taken a picture on the phone that's this crispy.
I keep saying it's almost insulting that it's too bright, where you're like, fuck, no, it's not that bright in here. No, it's cool. Like the vibe's cool. And you're like, because the picture looks so good and it's so bright.
Yeah, it's
crazy. It ruins it. So did you go like just regular Pro or Max or Mini?
I don't have the Max. Like I said, I like camping and backpacking, and I like to keep my phone small. So I just had the Pro.
Yeah,
just the regular Pro. Yeah,
the Max is too big, dude.
Yeah.
I also don't like having a case, so 100%.
Yeah. Yep. So that's my new tech.
I think
Shout
with
out
that,
Business
the
Babes.
answers, Simo, we just want to say thanks.
I-
Cheers to episode 10.
Cheers.
Cheers to Simo. Cheers to coming on the show. We really appreciate you.
Love you guys.
Simo, cheers. And after you drink your shot, tell them where they can find all your social media.
Of course. Cheers. So yeah, Simo from Ohio. I'll be on Instagram, and that's probably the best way to just find me, and we'll roll from there.
There you go. There you have it. And I will say Simo's great. If people reach out to him, he's somebody that's very communicative. So he'll have no problem answering any questions or anything. So
bring it in for the real thing.
We appreciate it, and we appreciate you coming on the show and taking time to be with us here and do this.
Absolutely incredible, man.
A little
so
late. All right, we're gonna sign out. Once again, we just want to say, hit us on the YOLO line. If you haven't yet, leave us a voicemail, 562-246 YOLO. If you're following us, make sure if you're listening to us, make sure you're following us. Rate, review, subscribe. Rate, review, subscribe. Rate, review, subscribe. We can't preach that enough. That's really important to us. It's how we're going to grow the show. We have some good things coming up. If you guys have any questions like the ones we answered today from some DJs, whether that was the YouTube question or the Instagram question, please feel free. We love seeing your questions. It helps us guide the show in what directions we want to talk and what things we're going to talk about. So once again, Simo, thank you. That's it. We're going to be out. See you guys.
See ya.
Peace.